like what just happened with No Way Home. And well, spoiler alert, I'll just go out and say it.
Well, hey man, I'm plugging my headphones.
Welcome to the Multiverse.
Greetings,
travelers, and welcome to Travelers into the Multiverse. I'm one of your hosts, Christian Franklin. We have our other host, Mr. Tucker Wallace, and we are so excited to dive in to this idea or this concept of what is known as the multiverse.
Ooh.
And this episode is going to be titled "The Multiverse is Real." Now, some of you may be thinking specifically, wait, the multiverse? What is this? What is this concept, right? But, you know, you're going to get to know us pretty well. Obviously, you know, for me, coming from one project known as What Saith the Scripture, a Bible program that does air on Facebook every Sunday evening at 7. And we also do an Instagram Live Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. This actually was not really my idea, but I have the privilege and the honor to get to work with the talented, the creative, the innovative Mr. Tucker Wallace, who is also has his own program, which I'll let him kind of explain about that. That's awesome.
Oh, dude, you must be talking about a Tucker from another multiverse or another universe. No, thank you. It's really crazy to see how far our friendship has come. We've talked about this so many times on the phone over the last, I guess, 3 to 6 months. We always joke about that the multiverse is real in a fun sense of like how, you know, what if our projects ever collide one day? And we always joke around of like just coming together to make a project. And so, but one thing is so cool was like Christian reached out to me a couple years ago when Meg, my wife, and I made a movie about how we met and about our faith. And I remember Christian reached out.
Awesome movie. Yeah.
Who is this awesome dude? And I mean, I just like, I would have never thought that from that message to now, like now we're diving into the multiverse. We're going to talk all things superheroes, try to bring some, you know, biblical principles out of it, some parallels like parables, and, you know, also talk about the fun of what superheroes bring in a valuable lessons in our lives. I mean, I think they played an important role in both of our lives. And
right.
What do you think, Christian? Like, what can people look forward to with this podcast?
You know, I love what you said, you know, that I don't care who you talk to, media and culture, at least with superheroes and with different quote unquote nerd, I don't know, like fantasy things. I don't even know if I find the right word for it, but we're all impacted. And I don't mean that we just, we worship these things. We want to make that clear. We don't set aside what's actually important, which is the word, 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse number 16. But we're so impacted and we're so involved and engaged in media and culture, specifically with all of these movies, Marvel movies, DC movies, Star Wars, and I'm just naming off a whole bunch. But what I love about Tucker's idea to be able to take these things that we love, like we love to engage in and just enjoy ourselves in, but how can we actually take those things that we love and find the actual application from Scripture? Like, does it ever correlate with itself? I mean, it's really interesting to look into these different aspects. Stuff that we talk about all the time. I know many friends of mine, aside from Tucker, that there's not a day goes by that I don't talk to somebody about a superhero movie coming out or a Disney Plus TV show or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But what I love about this idea, Tucker is just so creative. And by the way, if you follow us on social media, we'll get to that kind of towards the end of the episode. A little bit of housekeeping there, but if you check out the social media, all the different content that's being made for this podcast, I mean, Tucker is just killing it, y'all. he's pulling in different Tuckers from different universes to like, create this like a brain cloud of just awesome ideas. But we also wanted to make this, because I mentioned the project, What Say the Scripture. I know Tucker works with the Gospel Broadcasting Network and Homemade, which he can definitely explain more about that. But we come from these different projects they're awesome. We love doing these things. And I don't have any, at least with myself, I don't have any desire to stop doing that or to stop engaging with what we try to do. But I love the word he used to describe, like, at least his work with GBN and then my work with What Saith, very instructional, right? They're very educational. And this can be educational too, not trying to make us sound like Neanderthals, but at the same time, we really wanted to make this something very, very casual, very laid back. And not that it's laid back like we don't care, but something that it can appeal to a very wide demographic, so to speak, because there are so many people just impacted by these topics. And so the reason, the idea behind the multiverse is so unique because we can bring in multiple things from different thoughts, different ideologies, and we can kind of merge them together. So some of the very popular Marvel movies coming out recently, the idea of the multiverse is bringing in things from different universes into a one collective, universe, I guess. So that's what we're trying to do specifically with this. But I don't want to rant too long, Mr. Tucker. You got any thoughts on that,
dude? Well, this Christian here, Christian 1, Christian 2, or Christian 3 and that's definitely a No Way Home.
Which plug. One am I, Tucker? Do you know?
Yeah, man, all three of you are so nice, man. And that's one thing I love is like, we're a year apart in age. I'm 27. Are you 26? Or you're almost 26? I'm
25, man. I'm not 25. That old.
Oh, man.
My variant. Yeah.
You're 26. But some of you're going to definitely learn a lot of vocabulary. So some people that might be like variant, it's like, well, all right, this course is going to be a homework of, you're going to know all things superheroes by this. But yeah, Meg and I, my wife, and our little boy Jerks, we have a project that we work on. It's a family vlog called Homemade. And Christian and I went on an Instagram live with him once with What Saith the Scripture, an amazing program. And you definitely learn a lot of biblical knowledge. And these guys are awesome. And so totally go check that out. And one thing I love and appreciate about Christian is, like, we'll be talking and he'll be like, yeah, that's this verse, or this is this scripture, or he'll say something like, he'll reference it. I'm like, man, this guy is good. I'm going to have to figure out which variant to learn from, which copy. But that's like, when we first started talking about this, like a couple of months ago, we were like, what if we started a podcast that talks about everything superheroes? And, there's going to be things that superheroes do that we've talked about that we might not approve. Like, you might watch some movies, some comics that are like, might have some language or some activities going on that we might not approve of. So there's always that. But, we're mainly looking at the heart of it. For example, like, why do we love Spider-Man? What can we learn from Peter Parker, what he goes through? And so that's kind of some of the ideas of, like, what if we created a podcast that was a superhero faith-based podcast where we talk about all what's going on in the world of movies and like what just happened with No Way Home and the humongous meme that is a super popular one all over of the 3 Spider-Man pointing at each other. And then, well, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen No Way Home, I'll just go out and say it.
Well, hey, man, I'm plugging my headphones.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Well, just go look it up. You know what I'm saying? But, to be able to bring instructional lessons from Spider-Man that we can learn and apply it with a biblical teaching of, like, what, some of the things that maybe some of these superheroes go through can remind us of our purpose and who our creator is and why we're here and how to use your gifts for the good of mankind. And maybe when you don't use your gifts and, like, maybe you're good at something and you choose not to do the right thing. Like in the origin story of Peter Parker, like he had it, at least in Spider-Man 1, the movie, thinking of the comic book story too, but he could have stopped the bad guy, the robber that ended up killing. Well, I guess Spider-Man 3 comes into time. I'm thinking of Flint Marko. So, but
right.
So we're gonna talk all things superheroes. We're gonna talk all things faith. and you're going to get a mixture of that. Sometimes it might be more heavy superheroes or might be more heavy faith, but we want this to be casual and laid back. So if you're sitting at home or driving or, eating pizza, which we're going to reference pizza time.
Pizza time. Yeah.
So that's kind of the heart behind it. And so this first episode was kind of to introduce one another and to share that the multiverse is officially real. Whatever variant or copy or Tucker 1, Christian 2, Christian 3. If you've seen No Way Home, you'll get it. But this is going to be a platform that Christian and I grow our friendship on even more. We've become best friends and just want to be able to share the heart of why we love superheroes, but also share why we love Jesus. And hey, Christian, isn't there something like, what are you wearing right now? There's something. What are you wearing?
Well, I'm wearing a different version. Y'all can see I'm puffing up my chest here, but I got this cool Travelers into the Multiverse t-shirt. It's actually purple with green, but we also have different variations.
Ooh, that's a good word.
But Tucker, I did get this off. What is that? Isn't there like a platform you can purchase some of this stuff on?
What do they call that?
Inform the listeners about that.
I guess in this earth, they call it a merch store or an apparel store. So we went ahead and launched a merch store, an apparel store that's going to have these t-shirts are available right now. You can go purchase one in different colors, but we wanted to create the merch store too. We're going to have some fun with it. So for example, there's something called Pizza Time in Spider-Man. We're thinking about making a shirt that has Pizza Time and a cool graphic mixed on. We're going to have a bunch of t-shirts that you guys can go purchase at a reasonable cost. We know t-shirts can be expensive, so we're going to sell them for like $20, which is your typical t-shirt, graphic shirt. And then we're going to have stickers. We're going to have coffee cups. There's even blankets on there. Now, we don't have all of that stuff on there, but there could be a traveler's blanket because, it gets chilly in the multiverse when you're traveling at light speed.
Right.
I mean, sorry, I've been watching.
That's so clever, man. What's funny is like, I learned a lot from Tucker, especially how to be clever. And I mean, we talk about variants, but see, this is the real Tucker. Yeah, we don't even have to go to another Tucker to do that. But there was also one thing, Tucker, I want to talk about that we discussed very briefly. But this is something we want you, the listeners or the viewers, depending on if you view the videos or not.
Sure.
I believe this also be in video format. I want to confuse the listeners here, but we also are recording. So in case you want to watch this, I believe on YouTube. Is that correct?
Yeah, YouTube and potential other platforms, but for now, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. And again, Tucker is just absolutely killing it in every area, every universe of social media. But we did discuss something that we want you, the audience, to engage with us in, and that is called, I don't know, we call it a movie quote time or movie quote reference time. I don't know. I didn't think of a very creative name for that or title, but basically what we wanted to do was every podcast from here on out is we're going to reference a movie quote from a superhero movie, or maybe it could be maybe a Harry Potter. I don't know. I mean, we'll figure it out as we go, but we're going to reference a movie quote or a saying that takes place within the respective movie, and we want you, the audience, to guess who said it. But we want you guys to message us. We want you guys to comment, maybe on a social media post. Like, did we kind of figure out how we're going to structure that? A little bit of a call to action from you guys. Yeah.
I'd say, either any way you want to do it, whether it's DM us, direct messages. So if you want to comment on our latest post. Or what would be probably the most interactive is if you quote it yourself in your story, whether it be Facebook, or if you're on YouTube, comment it on the YouTube section. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, tag us in your story and we will reshare your post, because we want to engage with you guys. And we're, and I think it's so cool. It's like one of the things we've talked about in while we're playing off of Travelers, like what is the title, Travelers into the Multiverse? Christian and I have talked about this, is like, we're all travelers on this planet, on this earth. And although the multiverse is more fictional, in a sense, we're kind of playing off that word multiverse in a sense, and faith that, we're traveling on this world. And if you look around, there's a bunch of different beliefs and faiths. And so it's kind of we're twisting it, kind of a play on words of the multiverse of faith. And that, in one sense, there is only one faith, and that is to be a Christian, to believe in Jesus and to just be his. And to say, is there only one Spider-Man? I guess it'd be the OG Tobey Maguire. But, in a sense of faith, we believe in Jesus. We're Christians, and we want to use this platform to point back to New Testament Christianity, to simply just be his, to just belong to Jesus in this multiverse of faith. And it can be very confusing sometimes. And so as we travel into the multiverse, we want to hold tight to what's, each superhero has that compass of what's to do good and to do what's right. And so in our multiverse, in our Earth, was it 615, 616?
616, yeah.
616. That's the comic book Earth that we would live in today. We want to stick to Scripture and to live for Jesus with our relationship with the Creator. And so we're just traveling here on Earth. We're travelers into the multiverse.
I like that. It gets confusing. I was thinking about Tobey Maguire in No Way Home. He says it gets confusing. Yeah. Talking about his MJ and their relationship. But we're going to be talking a lot about No Way Home. That's probably the movie that's at my top right now. Is just, and Tucker and I, we talk about it all the time. I think I'm actually going to be going to see it again pretty soon.
Yeah, you did. Christian's seen it he's like, yeah, I saw it again. I'm like, dude, I've only seen it 3 times. He's like, yeah, I'm on 57 or I think this will be your 7th
Dude,
time.
It's 56, bro. Yeah. Not that much, but yeah.
It's breaking records.
It is. It's crazy.
No, I agree with you. I know this episode is more kind of laying the foundation of what is this whole podcast going to be about. And so this is more of just the introduction episode.
Right.
And so, but yeah, we're going to be talking all things, probably No Way Home for a while.
Yeah, dude. But I also wanted to make a quick kind of informative piece here. But we would like to hear from you all. Obviously, we wanted you to follow us on our social channels on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. But we also want to hear from you all. I know that sometimes on our other programs, I know Tucker can attest to this, that we get requests for topics, or maybe we get questions, so to speak. So we definitely want you all, that we're not going to change that format at all. We definitely want you all to submit topic ideas to us. Maybe there's a question you have about something, or maybe you just want us to talk specifically about your favorite movie and how that can apply to scriptural principles. I don't know. That would be awesome. Up to you all, but awesome. That's part of what we really want you all to absolutely get involved with, and just message us. That's something that's going to be really cool about this, is that we can bring in a lot of different aspects, a lot of different things. It's weird. You and I were talking, Tucker, and I know I have kind of a list, kind of a at least a list for season 1. I don't know if we're going to do seasons or not, but it's kind of smart though. People binge a season of something, but
in this universe,
this universe. But having a list of different topics, there's something I think about, a new aspect almost every single day, or at least every week. There's always something. I might be going back and revisiting a cool Marvel movie that I watched 2 or 3 years ago, and then I hear that I was telling you this maybe a week ago or something, that out of a Guardians Volume 2, there was a saying in there that just really caught my ears, and so I listened in on it again. I'm like, wow, this would be actually a really cool aspect to look into. But kind of going back to what you said a little bit earlier, we do want to emphasize that this podcast is going to be very family friendly. Now, we know that some of the things, and I'm kind of reiterating what Tucker already beautifully stated.
Oh, no, you say it even better.
Well, the thing is we want to make sure we understand. We know, we're very aware that not everything produced and put out to the pop culture audience is going to be appropriate, even with things that may not seem may not seem to go in approach. Sometimes I have some themes, some things in there, but we do not condone that kind of, we don't condone the language, or we don't condone certain actions like Tucker said. So we're going to make sure that we definitely void ourselves from doing that, because I know some people could have some reserve. I think which they should have the right to. Absolutely, we commend them on that. But we want to make sure that we are not crossing any boundaries or getting into things specifically that are obviously kind of more. Well, the Bible kind of states it in Matthew 18 as like an adult device, so to speak. Jesus speaking about how being like children, being pure and innocent. But if you're not, and you're engaging in things that are more adult or more mature in that regard, we're definitely not going to get into those topics at all. But we're going to be focusing on, as Tucker, I'm reiterating again. No, we're already in another universe reiterating this, but it's like we want to focus on the awesome moral ethics of what we do, or what we do as Christians, but how we can even draw those from things that we enjoy and like to engage in from time to time. But I don't know if Tucker, you had any more insight on that?
No, I mean, I think that, we are aware that even in our favorite superhero movies or comic book movies, there's things that, we definitely wouldn't want to, share in real life or say. And so, we're not perfect. So we're going to try to do our best to live the way we should, and with our compass being scripture, and kind of like how Jesus used parables for a certain way of teaching. I guess in a platform of this is, I don't really know, to be honest, I don't know of many podcasts that talk about superheroes. It may be like they reference it, but to have a podcast that talked about superheroes and comic books and be able to think about what are some like lessons we can learn from Captain America or Batman and like different. And, although we might not agree with everything that, some of these characters might do, there's definitely things that we can pull from their life, just like you would use any kind of story in real life and say, hey, I remember this one time I heard this story, and through that, I learned you could pull a biblical principle from it. And so I guess that's kind of like with this, we love, I mean, both of us grew up like watching Spider-Man, whether it be on VHS or DVDs back then, really. And now it's like we're streaming everything. And so these are things that have, like, I know we mentioned a lot about Spider-Man, but like Spider-Man and Batman growing up, those are like the two superheroes, even Tarzan, just those like those characters.
I love that Disney movie. I've watched it so many times. Dude, I love that. Yeah.
And who was it? Phil Collins?
Phil Collins, man.
Bro.
Yeah.
The soundtrack of your life. I mean, it's just like Danny Elfman, Hans Zimmer, all these guys that pull these soundtracks from these movies inspire you to want to be better, to treat people with love and kindness, to go the second mile, even when you get beat down. And so like in these stories and these movies and comic books that we've like seen and looked up to in a respectful sense. And as we've gotten older, before we even became Christians, like, just learning, and being inspired by these characters. And so I know both of us are excited to share some of that passion. I know there's many out there that love this stuff too, just as much as we do. And so I think Christian said it best. Like, we want to hear from you guys. We want to know whether, hey, what can we learn from this movie? What can we learn from this comic book character? What can we learn? And because it's cool, like, we wanted this to be, like you said, a safe place where we can talk faith, where we can talk why superheroes shouldn't wear capes sometimes. I think of the Incredibles.
The Incredibles, yeah. No kids.
no kids. But just to have a safe place to be able to create Christian superhero, whether it be fun apparel or more inspiring apparel, because this is the stuff that pushed us when we were growing up. And so I wouldn't want to do it to anyone else. And the fact that Christian reached out a couple of years ago just to say some kind words like he's been doing now. I mean, this variant of Christian has just been awesome. Like, I don't want to.
This is a jerk, man. Like,
so I mean, we're grateful for you. We would love it if you if you enjoy what you're listening to, subscribe, share this platform, give us a rating. Tell us what you want to hear, like what movie you want us to talk about, or we want to be able to talk about superheroes in every single episode, but we also want to be able to pull in biblical principles throughout it. And so if there's something like a teaching that you're like, hey, what about this? We might have to be like, go back to the comic books, the drawing boards, and be like, how do we, maybe pull some teaching from a certain comic book movie and use that to maybe lead into a Bible topic. And so, I'm pumped. I'm really excited. We've been planning this for so long.
Yeah. It feels like, I don't know, even probably maybe over a year. I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It could be a lot less. I don't know. I've just been excited for it for like a long time. And, and that's one thing you're talking about, the things we love to talk about, we're all, we have a lot of different interests too, not just superheroes. I mean, we love pickup trucks. We like, I love sports. I love to, watch professional sports and that kind of thing as a pastime, obviously. But, OKC Thunder, baby. Let's go. But what's weird is like, even with people that know me like very close and my good friends, we always go back to this topic of superheroes and comic books and just really the moral ethics behind why these superheroes do what they do and why these people decide how they're going to utilize their gifts or their talents in service of others. And that's something, even from all my different other interests, that's always something that stuck out to me. And I know it has with Tucker, because we obviously talk about the new things coming out, the new movies and the new shows. But also what's beautiful about it is like we can actually talk about what are we actually, it's so, some filmmakers are so creative in how they express or even expound upon just character, like moral characteristics that we all should be learning from, not worshiping, but we can learn, we can learn something or idolize. And some people do idolize this stuff, which we definitely don't want to do that. Yeah. But I think what we're trying to do here is something special. It's unique. I personally have never really seen it done before to this scale. Maybe I'm in a different universe. Maybe I'm in like, maybe I'm thinking outside Cloud 9. I don't know, but it's like, it's just Tucker's right. There's nobody else I'd like to do this with. I mean, this is just, this is something I take passion in, and I'm really excited to see where we travel to.
Dude. And I know as we get ready to close this first episode in this multiverse, we do want to go ahead and say, like, I want to play off your words, the what saith, who said this? So and on social media, whether it be on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, tag us in your story in the comment section. Who said this quote? And so what quote I'm going to share, Christian.
Okay. All right. And, I won't say it. Yeah.
Yeah. I know we both are like, ooh.
I'll spoil it.
Yeah. So let's see. So the quote is, sometimes to do what's right, you have to be steady. Then you finish it off.
Okay. Sometimes do what's right. We have to be steady and give up the things we want the most, even our dreams.
And so, all right, who said it? So let us know, tag us, and we will reshare your post. And maybe in the future, as this platform keeps growing, maybe we can give out some merch or something.
Yeah. I'd love that.
Maybe if you get 3 writers, I don't know. Now I know the easy thing is like you can go jump on Google.
I'm just going to do it. Yeah, I'll just answer and get my free merch. Yeah.
Me too.
It was a different Christian. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I promise. It was this other guy. Yeah.
Christian Franklin _3. Like what? Like, I know it's you, Christian. I know it was you.
Christian 1 and Christian 2, Christian 3. Yeah.
Christian 3.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, I know we're about to wrap this up as we light speed away. And well, I'm pumped. Thank y'all for tuning into this first one. I know, Christian, you're going to close us out, but I just want to say personally, thank y'all we love each of you, you know, from whether it's from our other platforms coming onto this one. It's nice just to be able to, you know, Christian and I are doing this on our personal time.
Right.
And so we love y'all, and we're excited to have some fun.
Yeah. And absolutely. Don't forget, follow us on, or actually follow and share our page on Facebook. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll have more information in the upcoming time. But man, we are so pumped. We are so excited that you are spending time to join us in this endeavor, in this journey, and are traveling across the multiverse. So we hope to see you in another universe on our next podcast. And until next time, there's 2 words that I usually close out every time I talk on the phone with Tucker about probably 4 or 5, 8 times a week.
That's right.
What is that saying, Tucker?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's travel on, my brother.
Travel on, baby.
Travel on.
Welcome back to your universe. Until next time, travelers.